Hello everyone, in this tutorial we will show you how to promote the coding projects that you work on. We will upload the files of code to GitHub the same way that most of the users do. For example, like Aria. She uploaded these files of code so that she can promote her skills and get a job in the field of data science. In contrast, if I go to my user profile, I can see that I don't have any public repositories yet. So how can I upload the files of code from one of my projects? Let's create a new project from scratch. So we go to the File Explorer, and within the desktop folder, let's create a new folder called Python Courses. And within Python Courses, we will create another one called, for example, Machine Learning. Now let's open the Anaconda prompt so that we can create files of code using the Jupyter Lab application. To the left side, we can see the folders. We saved our project within desktop, Python courses, machine learning. Here, we create a new file of code that we will call, for example, 01 load data. With the Seaborn library, we will load tips, for example. Let's do a histogram with this dataset. If I want to show the world the project that I am working on in my GitHub account, I need to create a new repository. So within the repositories, I create a new one. Let's call it machine learning. We create the repository, and GitHub is proposing 3 ways to upload the code. We will use the first one, create a new repository from the command line. They are using the application Git. But if I go to the terminal and then I type Git, they say that Git is not recognized as an internal command. And that's because I don't have the application installed in my computer. I go to Google, download Git, and then within this website, I download the application for Windows. I click here, and then I run the installer. I click on Next all the time, the default configuration. And now that the program is installed, we finish the installation. We open a new terminal again, and we type the command git, and we don't have any error. We have the instructions manual of this application. There is one more thing that we need to do. We open the notepad, and then with this code, we write our data. For example, here, username Jesus Lopez, and then user mail. I will make one up, for example, works@resolvingpython.com. We copy these lines, and then in the terminal, we paste it. We press enter once more. Also, there is one more application that we need to install, because if I want to upload the code from my computer to the internet, I need to validate my credentials. In other words, my username and password. So within Google, I type gh-cli download. We go to the first link and we download for Windows. We click on the installation and then we go next all the time. Once the application is installed, we open a new terminal, and then here we type auth login. Enter on github.com, https, credentials, yes, and login with a web browser. We copy this code, and then enter. We paste the code here, Ctrl V, and we click on continue. We authorize GitHub, and we have our credentials validated within our computer. Now, within github.com, we copy these lines of codes, we open the new terminal, but before pasting the code, we need to make sure that we are on the folder of our project. For example, if I open the files, we can see that we are on my user folder, but our project is on the desktop, Python courses, machine learning. So how do we get here? With the command cd, change directory, we first go to the desktop, then we go to Python courses, and then we go to machine learning. When I open the File Explorer, we are on the folder that contains the file of code load data. Now, these lines of code we had copied before, we go to the terminal and we paste it, making sure that we are on machine learning project. We press enter one last time, and this output tells us that the files were uploaded correctly in the github.com. So if I reload the website, here we can see the machine learning project. Nevertheless, there is one more thing to do, because within this folder, I don't have the file of code that I had created before in the Jupyter Lab, load data. So to upload this file of code that is on my local computer to the internet account of github.com, I need to go to the terminal and type the commands git add a, git commit with a message, for example, data, enter, and now we push the files to the online account in GitHub. We reload the GitHub account, and here we can see the load data file, available for anyone to see. In the following tutorial, I will not only explain the lines of code that I wrote here, but also how the Git application works so that we upload the code on a daily basis to the GitHub online account. And companies who would like to hire us could see the progress of our projects. From now on, I will use an Apple computer. So every time that I tell you to open the terminal, you should open the Anaconda prompt. And here you should type the lines of code that I do on the terminal of the Mac. Don't worry, you won't get any errors because they are the same both in Mac and Windows.